वेलकम बैक टू दर्शन चैनल। तो आज हम लोग डिस्कस करने वाले हैं लॉजिक के बारे में। सो लॉजिक में विल बी डिस्कसिंग लॉजिक का क्या एम है, डिफरेंस क्या है बिटवीन सेंटेंस या प्रपोजिशन या स्टेटमेंट्स के बीच में, कैटेगोरिकल प्रपोजिशंस क्या होते हैं। सो विल बी डिस्कसिंग ऑल दोस थिंग्स एंड बाय द एंड हम लोग कुछ एक्सरसाइज भी करेंगे। सो लेट्स स्टार्ट फर्स्ट विद द एम ऑफ लॉजिक। सो अभी तो एवरीबडी नोज, if you have watched my previous video, that logic is a branch of philosophy, right? So उसमें क्या क्या करते हैं? It focus on the nature of reasoning, the structures of argument and the principle that underlie rational thinking. So जो logic का aim है, that is to understand the principles of valid reasoning and sound argumentation. So I've classified it further. So classification में if you'll see, its primary goals are as follows. First one is that it provides a clear and precise way of expressing and analyzing argument. So इसमें you get clear that आपका आर्ग्यूमेंट क्या है और अगर कोई आपका आर्ग्यूमेंट वैलिड है या इनवैलिड है, और उसमें यू कैन ऑल्सो एलिमिनेट एम्बिग्यूटी, वेकनेस, कन्फ्यूजन इन रीजनिंग। अगर आप कोई भी रीज़न देते हो तो उसमें एम्बिग्यूटी, वेकनेस और कन्फ्यूजन को आप एलिमिनेट कर सकते हो इफ़ यू स्टडी लॉजिक। एंड एट द सेम टाइम you can also understand the difference between what is valid and invalid argument. So a valid argument is one which, if premises are true, the conclusion must be true. Logic aims to identify the principle of valid inference, ensuring that conclusion follow logically from their premises. So premises क्या है, argument क्या है, उसके लिए I'll make a separate video for that. So again we have validity and soundness, and then a sound argument is not only valid but also has true premises, making it both valid and factually correct. ये आपका difference है between validity and soundness के बीच में. Now moving to the next part, logic aims in examining the coherence and consistency of the set of beliefs, statements and proposition. It aims to identify contradiction, inconsistency within the body of knowledge and provides tools for resolving such conflicts. So again it helps in resolving the contradiction and inconsistencies. Next आपका एक बहुत important skill है, that is the critical thinking skill. वो भी आपका improve होता है with the study of logic. So it equips an individual with the ability to assess strength of evidences, identify fallacy and make well-informed decisions. So that is one more thing जो आपका critical thinking skill है, वो भी आपका improve होता है with logic. Next, logic provides a framework for evaluating argument and distinguishing between good and bad reasoning. It is especially important in the field of philosophy, science, law and everyday life. So again logic is something which we can use in our everyday life. अगर आप साइंस करते हो या साइंस के स्टूडेंट हो, फिलोसफी के स्टूडेंट हो, लॉ के स्टूडेंट हो, तो हर जगह आपका यूज़ होता है लॉजिक. नेक्स्ट वन इज लॉजिक इज एसेंशियल tool for problem solving and decision making, which we have already seen. It helps individual analyze complex issues, break them down into smaller compounds. So अगर आपका एक complex issue है, कोई complex problem है, तो उसको आप एक smaller components में आप distribute करते हो और you get a well structured argument to address the resolved problem. So again जो आपका कॉम्प्लेक्स इशूज़ है वो भी आपका रिजॉल्व होता है विद द स्टडी ऑफ लॉजिक. नेक्स्ट आपका एपिस्टेमोलॉजी में लॉजिक प्लेस एन इम्पॉर्टेंट रोल. लॉजिक हैज़ अ स्ट्रॉन्ग कनेक्शन टू एपिस्टेमोलॉजी विच इज़ अगेन ए ब्रांच ऑफ फिलोसफी. Logic is central to understanding how we acquire, evaluate and justify our belief. So again यहाँ पे भी एपिस्टेमोलॉजी में भी लॉजिक प्लेस एन इम्पॉर्टेंट रोल. एंड ऑब्वियसली ये तो सबको पता होगा that logic is the fundamental to the foundation of mathematics. It provides the framework of formal mathematical reasoning, the development of mathematical theories and the identification of mathematical truths and principle. Moving to the last point, logic plays a role in the analysis of language. Obviously जब भी आप कोई argument देते हो या जब भी आप कोई भी reasoning देते हो तो आप किस फॉर्म में देते हो, एक लैंग्वेज के फॉर्म में. उसी लैंग्वेज को तो एनालाइज कर रहा है लॉजिक, राइट, हेल्पिंग टू आइडेंटिफाई द स्ट्रक्चर एंड मीनिंग ऑफ द सेंटेंस या स्टेटमेंट्स. So again, that is also a very important role of logic in the linguistic analysis. Now let's see the difference between sentences and statements. Statements भी आप बोल सकते हो या फिर prepositions भी आप लिख सकते हो. Now sentence में आपका एक linguistic expression है, right? Sentences are a linguistic expression or combination of words in natural language. They represent a grammatical structure used for communication. So जो भी आप ये statements आप यूज़ कर रहे हो, जैसे कि if I say all crows are black, so again I'm giving a statement sentence, right? या फिर if I say close the door, again एक sentence हो गया आपका, right? Now if you see the next one, sentence follows the syntactic rule and grammatical convention. Now in a sense that जब भी आप कोई sentence बोलते हो close the door, तो एक grammatical form में होता है, right? So certain sort of rules has to be followed. Similarly जो आपका statement and preposition है, उसके क्या क्या important points है? First one is that statements are the subset of sentences that are used to convey complete, meaningful and declarative preposition. So again, this is important. It has to be complete, it has to be meaningful, and it has to be declarative prepositions or claims. Moving to the next one, again this is very important. Statements are designed to evaluate for their truth value. So again जो भी आप statement या जो भी आप preposition use करते हो, that should have a truth value. If I say it is raining outside, and actually में if it is raining, then it is true, otherwise it would be false. जैसे यहाँ पे मैंने example लिया है, the earth orbits around the sun. So again यहाँ पे आपका sun है, and then the earth orbits around the sun. So again this is true statement, right? So that is one more thing. Moving to the next one, grammatical correctness. जो आपका sentence है वहाँ पे आपका grammar correct होना चाहिए. If I say the cat is sleeping and sleeping cat the not, तो ये नहीं चलेगा. There should be certain sort of rules which you have to follow. Again sentence can be ambiguous. So again sentence जो है आपके ambiguous हो सकते हैं. So I've taken an example. I saw her with a telescope. So again it can have two connotation, two meanings. I saw her with telescope. मैंने particular person को telescope से देखा. That can be one meaning. Or the second meaning can be I saw her with a telescope. मैंने देखा कि she was carrying a telescope. So again यहाँ पे it's ambiguous, right? तो वो चीज़ यहाँ पे है. But in case of a statement it should be clear, right? जो आपका statement या preposition वो clear होना चाहिए, and it should be unambiguous. The aim to convey information with high degree of clarity and certainty. Unlike sentences, they are not meant to be open to multiple interpretation. So again, there cannot be multiple interpretation because जो आपका statements है, it should have a truth value. Next, moving to the logical analysis. Statements are the primary focus of logic and philosophy. They are the building blocks for constructing logical arguments. So if you remember, arguments में premises use होते हैं and conclusions use होते हैं. And these premises and conclusions are what? These are propositions या statements only, right? Evaluating the validity of reasoning and determining the truth or falsity of the proposition. Moving to the next one, what is the purpose of sentence? The sentence serves various functions in language, including making statements, asking questions, giving command, expressing an emotion. So it can be of any form. So if you take an example, let's go for a movie tonight. So again, it's a proposal, right? Where is my laptop? So again, it's in a form of a question. So these are the example of sentences. Now if we take some example of preposition, so water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. It is true. The capital of India is New Delhi. So again true. 2 + 2 is 14. So again it's true. So again it can be either true या फिर आपका false हो सकता है, right? So in this particular case it is true. These are all declarative claims that can be assisted for their truth or falsity. Again ये आपका true हो सकता है या फिर आपका false हो सकता है. Now again this is very important. जो आपका statements है, it can be tautology, it can be self-contradictory, and it can be contingent. Statement which are always true is called tautology. जैसे कि आपका अगर एग्जाम्पल लेते हैं, all human beings are mortal. So अगर आप एग्जाम्पल लेते हो all human beings are mortal, so again it will be true, राइट. सो अगेन ये आपका टोटोलॉजी हो गया. लेट्स टेक रेड रोज इज रेड इन कलर, रेड रोज इज रेड इन कलर. सो अगेन ये आपका टोटोलॉजी का एग्जाम्पल हो गया. सेल्फ कॉन्ट्रोडिक्टरी, all circles are square. So again it is self-contradictory. The statement itself is self-contradictory. Now again contingent में क्या आएगा? Statements which are always true in some case and false in another. जैसे कि मैंने अभी एग्जाम्पल दिया था, इट इज़ रेनिंग आउटसाइड. सो अगेन इन अभी के टाइम पे इट कैन बी फॉल्स, बट लेट्स सपोज इन फ्यूचर इट इज़ रेनिंग, तो उस टाइम पे वो आपका ट्रू हो जाएगा. सो अगेन सच स्टेटमेंट्स आर contingent in nature. So we have three things: tautology, self-contradictory and contingent. Tautology में it has to be always true, self-contradictory में always false, and contingent में it can be true in some cases and false in other. Now moving to the very important point, that is the categorical prepositions. So what are categorical prepositions? So abhi samajh aa gaya, okay, we have preposition. Now what are categorical preposition? So Aristotle originated the theory of categorical preposition. It remain important even today, as many of the statements we make in ordinary discourse are categorical preposition. So again categorical preposition plays an important role, because अभी जो हम लोग statements use करते हैं वो भी आपका categorical prepositions में आते हैं. So we still use it. So a preposition, now what is the definition here is given: a preposition that relates two classes or category, affirming or denying that one class S is included in some other class P in whole or in part, is called categorical preposition. So this is the definition of categorical preposition. Now यहाँ पे we have S and P. So what is it? This is means subject term and predicate term. So यहाँ पे the classes are denoted by subject term and the predicate term. So if we see the example, Indian Idol contestants hope for recognition. So we have two classes, Indian Idol contestants एक आपका class है, and the second one is people who are hoping for the recognition. So दो classes के बीच में यहाँ पे discussion हो रहा है. The preposition that relates two classes, whether we are affirming or denying it, वो हम लोग next page और next slide में देखेंगे. If you see the next one, only healthy foods belong in the college canteen. So again we have one category of healthy food and the second category of college canteen. Now moving to the next part, we have standard form categorical prepositions. So यहाँ पे how is it different from categorical preposition? We'll see that it represents an ideal of clarity in language and familiarity with the relation that prevail, provide a backdrop of precision for all kind of linguistic use. So again, if you see categorical preposition that express relation with complete clarity is called standard form categorical preposition. So again यहाँ पे आपका complete clarity होना चाहिए. इसके कितने types है? 4 types है. First one is universal affirmative, universal negative, particular affirmative, particular negative, and it is also represented with A preposition, this is E preposition, this is I preposition, and this one is O preposition. All SSP, subject term, predicate term, subject, predicate, no SSP, some SSP, some S is not P. Next, if you'll see prepositions, so preposition में आपका है categorical preposition. Categorical prepositions में हमारे 4 type के हैं, universal 2 and particular 2. So यहाँ पे affirmative में I लगा दिया, affirmative prepositions and particular prepositions. So this is the chart which I've made. Moving to the next one, we'll see, okay, now we have all S is P. Subject term predicate ये तो हमें समझ आ गया. Now what is all and S? इसको देखते हैं. Now I've taken an example. All members of philosophical association are people holding degree from recognized academic institution. So we have all S subject term. यहाँ पे आपका predicate term आ गया. are members of recognized. So यहाँ पे जो आपका all है that is known as quantifier. ठीक है, so जो आपका all यहाँ पे है that is quantifier, and then again you know what subject term is and what predicate term is, and this R is known as the copula. So I've explained it further. Quantifiers, they specify how much of the subject class is included or excluded from the predicate class. So again जो आपका all हो गया, no हो गया, some हो गया, so वो सब आपके quantifiers हैं. And the subject term and predicate term do not mean the same thing in logic that subject and predicate mean in grammar. So again, this is an important point which also you can note it down. And the next one is copula, any form of verb to be that serves to connect the subject term and the predicate term. So again जो previous example था all, as, is, be, so यहाँ पे जो आपका subject term and predicate term को कौन connect कर रहा है, जो आपका copula है connect कर रहा है. So that is what is being written here. So it can be where, are, will not be. तो ये सारे आपके examples है copula के. Now let's see some exercise. So you have to identify the quantifier, the subject term, copula and the predicate term. It's very easy. Now in case of the first example, all football players are athletes. So इस case में आपका ये आपका subject term, ये आपका predicate term, ये आपका copula and ये आपका quantifier हो जाएगा. Similar next case में ये आपका quantifier, subject term, again copula and then the predicate term. No criminals are good citizens. So again criminals आपका क्या हो गया, subject term, predicate term, copula and quantifiers. Some insects are not pest. यहाँ पे spelling गलत लिखा है, pest है. So again insect, pest and then some not. So again we can identify A का A preposition हो गया, some executive package are insert to ordinary, यहाँ पे again I preposition हो गया, ये आपका no है, that means it is E preposition, and some not है, that is O preposition. So that's it for today. So I'll continue with the categorical preposition in the next class. Thank you all for listening.